Hoffmann-La Roche slammed by the British Medical Journal. Finally, a voice of reason amidst the turmoil. Hoffmann-La Roche, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, the makers of Tamiflu, right, Tamiflu, one of the world's leading influenza vaccines, was just slammed by a leading British medical journal who is asking the drug company, Hoffmann-La Roche, to release all its data on Tamiflu, claiming that there is no evidence that the drug can actually stop the flu. Tamiflu has been stockpiled by dozens of governments worldwide in case of a global flu outbreak and was widely used during the 2009 swine flu pandemic. Remember that bag of nonsense, the swine flu? Remember that? On Monday, one of the researchers linked to the British Medical Journal called for European governments to sue Hoffmann-La Roche. I suggest we boycott Roche's products until they publish the missing Tamiflu data, wrote Peter Gottschee, leader of the Nordic Cochrane Center in Copenhagen. He said governments should take legal action against Hoffmann-La Roche to get the money back that was needlessly spent on stockpiling Tamiflu. It may be interesting to note that same company is also being investigated. Hoffmann-La Roche is also being investigated by the European Medicines Agency for not properly reporting the side effects of some of its drugs, one of the side effects being death for 19 drugs, including Tamiflu, that were used in about 80,000 patients in the U.S. So this is how it goes, folks. Steal a little and they throw you in jail. Steal a lot and they make you king. Kill a couple and they throw you in jail. Kill a lot and they make you king. That's how it is, man. When you monopolize an industry, you get away with murder. Just saw the new James Bond movie a couple of days ago with my good friend Steve Schultz of Longevity fame. James Bond has a license to kill, right? He can kill whoever he wants with impunity. Well, guess what? So does your MD, so do pharmaceutical companies. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical treatments. MDs kill 780,000 people a year. 780,000 people a year, and nobody goes to jail. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers, we go to war. 780,000 are killed by MDs and nothing happens. Because they monopolize the industry. These are the same people that brought you the Zyklon B gas, the stuff that killed the Jews and the Gypsies and everybody else, unfortunate enough to find themselves in the death camps of World War II. That's right. The pharmaceutical companies, the people that funded the beginning of World War II, made the death gas in the death camps in World War II, and they're still in business. They're still making crap. They're still selling it to you. Not only are they still selling it to you, they've monopolized the industry. And you buy it. You buy into it. You give them your hard-earned money every month. If you're in Canada, may God bless you and keep you safe from harm. I think it's too late because the government in Canada just takes it out of your... rolls it right into the amount of tax that you owe every year for your health care. Oh, that's great. That's just great. Goodness sake, wish I had a business like that. Wouldn't you love it? Met a guy, one of my avid listeners in North Carolina this weekend. He's a truck driver. Forget his name off the top of my head. I meet too many people. I really need to keep better notes. But, he's driving his truck all around the United States. Thanks for your support, by the way. And everywhere he goes, everybody is sick. Everybody is sick in this country. If you get around enough, if you have a job that takes you to different cities, if you have the good fortune to be around large groups of people, even small groups of people, diverse groups of people from all over the country, ladies and gentlemen, it is bad. And it is getting worse. Our health is going where in a handbasket because we have put our faith in the wrong system of medicine. We bring our disease-addled bodies to medical professionals who are not trained in health care. we bring our disease-riddled bodies to healthcare practitioners, MDs, who are trained only in how to manage our symptoms with drugs and surgery. That's it. That's all they know. That's all that they know. That's all they'll ever know. And their hubris is so great. Their arrogance is so legendary. Their complete lack of self-examination in the face of overwhelming statistics is legendary. For goodness sake, if you were a carpenter and 99% of the houses you built collapsed 6 months after you build them, you'd start to investigate your blueprints. You'd start to investigate your building methods, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would. If you were a taxi cab driver and 95% of your customers hated you, you'd start to investigate your interpersonal relationship skills, wouldn't you? If you were a chef and everybody threw up after they ate your lasagna, you'd probably reinvestigate your lasagna recipe, wouldn't you? Of course you would, but MDs don't. MD's therapeutics fail all of the time. MD therapeutics hurt all of the time. MD therapeutics kill most of the time. And yet the MD remains completely disassociated from the results and 100% wedded to their mythological treatments. As God is my witness, the only people in this country, quite frankly in the world, selling snake oil have MD after their name. They want you to believe it's me, but in fact of matter, it's them. In point of fact, it's them, for goodness sake. When somebody's pointing the finger at you, they're pointing 4 back at themselves, right? 5 back at themselves, 4 back at themselves. This is how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going around and around and around and around and around and around and around with our health. We consistently get piss-poor results, not because chronic disease is hard to fix, but because the people that we go to for health care don't know how to fix it. And they have convinced you that I'm a quack. They have convinced you that when it comes to medicine, their point of view is the only point of view. They have convinced you that they are the undisputed owners of medical science, when in point of fact, they are only taught a very small piece of the pie of medical science. But because they have gigantic money behind them, they've done a very good job at PR. You have been played. Everybody in the world has been played by the myth of the pharmaceutical methodology. It doesn't work. Drugs and surgery do not work in the healing of a chronic illness. They don't work. Stop going to your MD. Fire your MD. Don't wait. Call your doctor up right now. Say, hey, doc, I have an eye problem. Oh, really, Mrs. Smith? What's the problem? I can't see you anymore. By the way, I want my money back. I want my money back for all the ridiculous treatments you've given me for the last 10 years that didn't work. You should be ashamed of yourself, you knucklehead. Go back to school, why don't you? You're horrible at what you do. You stink at what you do. You've been able to manage my symptoms. I'm getting worse. My arthritis is getting worse. My blood pressure is getting worse. My blood sugar is getting worse. My daughter can't get pregnant. My grandkids have autism. My parents have Alzheimer's. My brother's on dialysis. Everybody in the damn town has cancer. It's your fault. You're fired. Get out of my town. Get out of my hospital. Get out of my country. Take your drugs and go to some South Pacific island and have fun with yourself. You're poor at what you do. You fail at what you do. You stink at what you do. Get out of my hospital. That's what we should say, but we don't. Because number one, none of us have the cojones to pull that off. And number two, we are completely scared to our bones about getting sick. And so, you know, the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know, right? Is that how the phrase goes? You know, for goodness sake, we all have Stockholm Syndrome, right? Stockholm Syndrome. You familiar with that? Stockholm Syndrome is when kidnappees, the people who are kidnapped, develop feelings of affection for their kidnappers. And they start to get on the side of the kidnappers, right? Oh, my goodness. You know, it happens to hostages a lot. If hostages are held for more than 2, 3, 4 weeks, they start to develop feelings of affection for their people that took them away in the middle of the night. Well, that's what it's like with us and MDs. They completely let us down most of the time. They consistently fail us. They kill us. They kill our loved ones. Our health gets worse under their tutelage. Life expectancy gets less. Birth defects increase. Autism increases. Alzheimer's increases. High blood pressure increases. No pun intended. And we continue to go back to them. As a matter of fact, when it gets really bad, we raise money for them. You know, we do the 500K run for the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Think any of that money goes to holistic medical research? No. Most people in this country can't even spell holistic because the pharmaceutical companies have taught you that I'm a quack. It's completely backwards, ladies and gentlemen. It's like Orwell's 1980. War is peace. Constant surveillance is freedom. Ineffective health care equals the best medicine on the planet. Be afraid. Be very afraid. You need your medical insurance. You need access to your horse hormone. You need access to your rat poison. Heaven forbid you can't get your rat poison. Heaven forbid you can't get your liver poison. Heaven forbid you can't get that cholesterol-lowering drug, even though it doesn't work. Heaven forbid you can't get that Tamiflu, even though now the British Medical Journal says it doesn't work. I've been telling you it doesn't work for 30 years. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here for yet another edition of Fire Your MD Now. We're trying to dial in a 2-hour show, ladies and gentlemen, for 2013. How about that? 2-hour show. You have made this show so popular, we're dialing it into 2 hours, and 2 hours gives us the opportunity to bring in more guests, to have more time to talk about complicated issues, you know, really these scientific health-related issues. They're not complicated, but your MDs have convinced you that they are, so it takes really more time to deprogram you than it does to actually just tell you what the heck the real truth is. For goodness sake, fire your MD. Don't believe a thing that they tell you. As a matter of fact, do exactly the opposite of whatever they tell you to do. They tell you not to eat salt. Take a bath in salt. Eat a pound of salt a day. They tell you to exercise. Don't exercise. Lie down on your bed. Don't even blink a flippin' eyelash. Lie down in a bed of salt. Do exactly the opposite of what they tell you to do, because they are clueless. They tell you to take statin drugs. Don't take statin drugs. They tell you to take antacids. Don't take antacids. They have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to the treatment of chronic disease. I mean, you know, you don't even have to understand the philosophical differences. You don't. You don't have to understand any of this. Just look at their track record. Look at the results. Facts are a stubborn thing. You know, you want to find out how good a restaurant is? You know, let it exist for a year and then drive by on a Saturday night and see how many people are sitting in there. That's how good a restaurant you know that it is. It's by the clientele. For goodness sake, MDs consistently fail us all of the time. But because we think they're the only game in town, they are, in fact, the only game in town. That's why we continue to go to them, because we don't know there's another alternative. We don't know there's another option. We have no idea. These guys don't want you to know that I exist. They don't want you to know what naturopathic medicine is. That's why it's only licensed in 16 states in the United States. It's a war, ladies and gentlemen. Pick your heads up out of the sand. Fire your MD now and give me a call. 866-582-9933, like Mike has done. Mike, welcome aboard. Thanks for calling. You are live.
Hello?
Hey, Mike, what's going on, man?
Oh, hey, Dr. Glidden. Hey, man, it's a thrill to be on with you.
Hey, thanks a lot. How can I help?
Well, I've got a problem that I haven't been able to fully address, and I'm a 25-year-old guy. I run, I lift weights. You know, I'm an athletic person. I've always been told that I'm healthy. Other than asthma, I've had no past of any real medical problems. I've developed an abnormal or an irregular heartbeat, and I haven't had any MD diagnosis of this, but my heart will seem to race way too often and way too frequently. For a guy that's in my shape, I feel that's very unusual. I'm an avid listener of yours and Dr. Wallach's, and doing a little digging of my own on YouTube and so forth. I found some information of yours and Dr. Wallach's about arrhythmias being caused by problems with the back and the discs between the vertebrae.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few concerns. I know basically what my program should be as far as using the glucose gel, but I'm wondering, I'm asking for your advice on whether I should get an X-ray, a spinal X-ray to see if this is definitely the case, or if I should have any heart tests done to make sure, I don't have any real heart problems.
All right, excellent questions, man. This is all really good stuff. Really good stuff, Mike. I appreciate the phone call. Let me line it all up for you. All right. So here's the deal. Most of the time, irregular heartbeats are caused by shrunken intervertebral discs, and it's like a feather pillow that's lost its feathers, and then the nerves that come out of your spine right there get squished more than they should because the little cushion ain't so cushiony anymore. And so if it's the nerve that goes to your heart has a funny beat. If it's a nerve that goes to your bladder, you want to pee more than you need to. If it's the nerve that goes to your uterus, you get, weird erratic menstrual cycles and so forth and so on. So sometimes it's related to that. However, I would anticipate that to be more the case in somebody who's older than you. However, it's a possibility. I'm going to tell you what the best way to go for the first 90 days, and no, you don't need an X-ray, man, on this. Talking to Mike this afternoon, amongst others. By the way, if you're listening to the podcast and would like to talk to a real, live human being, that number is 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. Now, Mike is a young guy. He's in his 20s, 24, I think, 25 years old. He's an athlete. He has asthma historically, and now he's got an irregular heartbeat, and he says that he's otherwise healthy. Well, that's an interesting thing to talk about, because if he really was healthy, he would never have had asthma, right? If you have asthma, you're not healthy. If you have migraine headaches, you're not healthy. If you have bad menstrual cramps, you're not healthy. If you have indigestion or heartburn, you're not healthy. You get it? Any strong and persistent symptom that your body generates is an indication that something is wrong. It's like the red warning light on the dashboard. Something is up. It is impossible for somebody to be healthy if they have a strong and persistent symptom. It's impossible. All right? Now, and it's not Mike's fault. I'm not singling Mike out about this. This is how we all talk. This is what we're all kind of educated to think. As long as I'm not, on 16 prescription medicines and in a wheelchair, then I'm healthy. Well, no. If you're healthy, you are symptom-free. You've got no aches and pains. Your sleep, your energy, your appetite, your sex drive, your memory, everything is good. You got no complaints. If the shoe fits, you don't feel it. This is how it should be in our body, but so few of us are like this that we have settled for mediocrity, administered to us by the Machiavellian medical ministers of mediocrity, the MD. But I digress. So, obviously, well, not obviously, but interestingly, one of the first things we think about when we think about an irregular heartbeat is degenerative disc disease in the spine. However, in someone who's 25 years old, I might not be inclined to think that. I might be inclined to think, rather, that it has something to do with not enough minerals in his body. Because not enough minerals in your body will do a lot of things. One of the things that it'll do is it'll make your heart beat funky. So rather than do a lot of expensive blood tests or subject the body to ionizing X-ray radiation, right, for the first 60 days, Mike, here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. We're going to clean your diet up. I want you to stop eating the 10 bad foods for 2 months. Stop eating the 10 bad foods for 2 months. Actually, I want you to stop eating them for the rest of your life. But as an experiment, I want you to stop eating them for 2 months, and I want you to take one healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. I want you to round your weight up. You know, if you're 150, take the 200-pound dose. If you're 200 pounds, take the 250-pound dose. Round your weight up by 50 pounds, all right, to the next 50-pound mark. If you're 130, take the 150-pound dose, all right? So it's one healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and I'd like you to take one bottle of selenium, ultimate selenium, per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle of ultimate minerals per month. That's all I want you to do for the first 60 days and see what happens to the irregular heartbeat. I'm telling you this because in pre-World War II Germany, there was a very interesting condition. It was called athlete's heart. Interesting, right? They knew this in World War II, before World War II, in Germany, of all places, the pharmaceutical capital of the phenomenal universe, Germany. They discovered this condition called athlete's heart, and it was an enlarged heart, and it would happen mostly in athletes. And why did it happen in athletes? Because athletes ramp up their metabolism every day way more than you or I do, and so they burn through their nutrients faster than the average bear. And as it turned out, athlete's heart, which was an enlarged heart, is caused by not enough selenium. So given the fact that you're an athlete, I'm assuming that your body is more minerally deficient than it needs to be. So before I get excited and start putting you on massive amounts of glucogel and extra calcium, for the first 8 weeks, I just want you to do 2 healthy start packs, some selenium and extra minerals, plus avoid the 10 bad foods and see how you feel. Now, if after 8 weeks of doing that, man, there's no difference at all, I mean, the heartbeat is still funky, then rather than get ionizing radiation or a CT or an MRI, and don't do the treadmill test, because when those knuckleheads put you on a treadmill, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make you have a heart attack. They hook the electrodes up to your chest and they put you on the treadmill and they make you run. They're trying to give you a heart attack. They're seeing what happens to your heart under stress. That's like giving somebody with, really bad osteoporosis, putting them on a treadmill and seeing how fast they have to run before the leg breaks. It's ridiculous. It's barbaric even from a particular point of view. It's an ass backwards way of treating things, and avoid the MD unless you're bleeding to death is my basic rule of thumb, all right? So check it out with the Healthy Start Pack, the selenium, and the extra minerals, plus the diet, for 8 weeks, and if there's no traction on that at all, then use the glucogel. Keep doing everything that you were doing, and every month do do the glucogel appropriate for your body weight, and 1 extra bottle of calcium. And my favorite, of course, is the Cal Toddy. So the glucogel, 1 capsule per 10 pounds of body weight per day, and the extra calcium. But I don't think you're going to need to do that, man. I think you're going to be fine with the Healthy Start Pack, the minerals, and the selenium. So check it out. And also, man, if you're a weekend warrior, do not overlook the Rebound FX, because we, or not we, but the Longevity family, Dr. Wallach, and his cohorts, scientific advisory panel, developed the Rebound FX specifically for sports people. So if you're a sports person and you're not taking the Rebound FX when you're working out or when you're playing the game, you just don't know what you're missing. So check it out, Mike. I appreciate the phone call. Jill is up next with a question about the gluten-free diet. Jill, thanks for calling.
Hello.
I'm listening. How are you?
Good. I'm calling about my son. He's 13, almost 14. I put him on a gluten-free diet because of his eczema, and it cleared it up mostly.
Imagine that.
Now I find that his skin texture is still off. He's very, very pale, and he's still losing weight and kind of weak and stuff. And he craves sugar nonstop, and I need to kind of get him over the next hurdle now.
Okay, well, good for you. What prompted you to want him to get off the gluten?
I've been dealing with it since he was about 1.5 to 2 years old, and I had gone to a naturopathic doctor, and he had suggested the elimination diet. And I found that it had helped, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. And then I had been reading a lot about the gluten being somewhat of the problem, so I wasn't sure if it was the gluten or the dairy. And now I find with the gluten it seems to control it, but if I give him too much dairy, he seems to have somewhat breakout on his face more than anything. So that's kind of been experimenting, and then I just found out about Dr. Wallach not too many months ago, and I've been listening to him too. So.
All right, great. Well, Dr. Wallach recorded a audio CD a couple of months ago called Serial Killer, and it's all about gluten, and you can get that at DRJ Wallach, Dr. J. Wallach, WALLACH.com, DRJWallach.com, Serial Killer. And if you go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, and opt in for my free monthly newsletter, my system automatically sends you a link to a video that I produced that kind of walks you through the reason that gluten is so bad, all right? So you seem like a smart, knowledgeable, with-it woman, a little bit ahead of your time, I think. A little bit of knowledge, more knowledge, certainly couldn't hurt. So if you check out those two resources, it might help you moving forward. So understand this, please, that your body has a nutritional tank. It doesn't really have a tank, but it's a good metaphor. And the vast majority of chronic diseases are caused by, and even if it's not a disease, if it's lack of energy, lack of appetite, bad sleep, your mood is bad. I mean, it's not bad enough to actually get a diagnosis, but you're just off. You're not gaining weight, your energy's down, you're kind of pale, your skin's a little sallow or whatever, it's just not right. These are due, if not 100%, most of the time, and the highest percentage of the time, to chronic nutrient deficiencies. So what we are attempting to do here is fill the body's nutritional tank up to give it all of the raw materials that it needs to fix itself, and then stop eating foods that are punching holes in the bottom of that tank. You've already done that. So by eliminating the gluten from your son's diet, you've gone a long way towards patching the holes in the bottom of his nutrient tank. And, that's why you've gotten some traction with the eczema. But now what you need to do is you need to fill that tank up with the proper nutrients. Because there is no way on God's green earth that you, me, or anybody else can fill that tank up just from eating food. You can't do it. You have to supplement. You have to stop eating gluten and 6 other foods that punch holes in that tank that generate net negative metabolic reactions when you eat them. And then you have to, most importantly, fill the tank up. So the only step that you're missing here, Jill, is, what are we going to do to fill that nutrient tank up? And this is where I thank Dr. Wallach every day that I wake up. Because Dr. Wallach's nutritional supplements produce more positive, specific and measurable results than any therapeutics I had previously been exposed to, and I've been exposed to a lot. I mean, you do this for 20 years, you get a clue. So, Wallach's recipes are great. His nutritional supplements are exceptional, and there's no other company that comes even close to Dr. Wallach's formulations. So what do? We lean on Wallach. And Wallach made it easy because healing is easy, and it is. So the simple solution for your son, at least the first place to start, would be 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, I give everybody selenium because it's so good for antioxidant activity in the body. It's an anti-aging thing. It's really helpful for your heart. It has tons of anti-cancer properties. So everybody gets a bottle of selenium. And my recommendation is 1 bottle of selenium, Ultimate Selenium, per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. And because of the history of the eczema, I would give him 1 extra bottle of EFA+, 1 extra bottle of EFA+, which is the essential fatty acid supplement, for 2 months. So that's 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 extra bottle of the EFA+, and that should round it out for you. You get that stuff in his belly every day, And, usually with teenagers or kids that, young kids, whether they're boys or girls, they really respond to this stuff rapidly. And I'll eat my hat, quite frankly, if you don't see a noticeable positive change within 14 days of putting this stuff into his body. And think about it this way, Jill, when you give him this stuff, it's going to be the first time in his life that his body has had all of the nutrients that it needs to manage its affairs. And when the body is completely nutrified and replete, switches start to turn on that have been offered a long time. And you feel that, and that's what we lean on here. Results, baby. Results. If you want help ordering that stuff, or, to figure out the dosage, schedule that number, 855-347-3696. Give my folks a call. They'll help you. Peter Glidden here, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. Please visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com, and buy my book. My book, if I do say so myself, will, if you like this radio show, you're going to love the book. And now it's available in e-form. You can be reading it in 5 minutes. Download it right to your Kindle. $9.99 for the e-book. It's $22.95 for the paperback. 118 pages of information that can change your life, and there's a chapter in there that has 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist. If every cancer patient in this country asked their oncologist those 10 questions in 1 year, we would change the way that oncology and cancer treatment is practiced in this country, or at least we'd make a gigantic dent in it. How would we do that? By stopping going to these knuckleheads, because they've got nothing for us. They have nothing for us. The only reason that they treat us is because we're scared to death. They could tell us, they could tell a cancer patient if they've got cancer, put the white coat on and sit down looking all official, surrounded by all these multi-million-dollar high-tech equipment and all these people running around seeming to know what they're doing. They could tell you to jump off the roof of the hospital as a treatment for your cancer, and you would do it. We need to collectively snap out of our unquestioning allegiance to ineffective medical treatments. We rattle our prescription medications to celebrate our health, and we all need our heads examined. Everybody, that is, except Kathy, who's calling in with a question about kidney disease. Kathy, welcome aboard. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on?
Oh, great. I've been really anxious to talk to someone. I was diagnosed in March with chronic kidney disease, stage 1,
yep.
With elevated proteinuria. My creatine levels were okay, but the first thing they wanted to do was the biopsy. That was like my introduction to the to the doctor. And while it might have been the right thing to do, I don't know. I prefer to try something a little less invasive. I got a hold of Get Well Natural, which has some herbs for kidneys, and I started using those. But I also have some other issues going on. And I had my gallbladder removed in 1988. I'm 56 years old. I have hypertension that's been controlled since 2007. I have liver spots. My memory is getting weaker. My short-term memory. I have, I'm anxious a lot, so I'm not comfortable, And I have cramping in my legs and feet at night, and I have an allergy to eggs. I'm trying to think of all the things.
Well, let me stop you right there, because we're up against the clock. All right, so let me just give it to you straight. The cramping in the legs at night, the high blood pressure, these are calcium deficiency diseases. That's what causes them. 99% of the time, and I just made that number up, gallbladder issues, acute gallbladder attacks are caused by eggs, egg allergies. I doubt very much that you needed your gallbladder removed, but, the reason that the MDs did it is because that's all they know what to do. When everything looks like a hammer, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And so that's what they do. Now, thank God again for Dr. Wallach, because from 1970 to 82, Wallach did 26,000 autopsies, more or less, 10 million blood slides and histopathologies, researching the root causes of degenerative disease. And what Wallach found out was that most of the time with kidney disease, the kidney itself is fine. It's the blood flow in or before the kidney that's messed up. So, and there are blood vessels, man, in your kidney that are so small that only one blood vessel, one red blood cell at a time can pass through it. They're eeny, weeny, teeny, chilly, beany blood cells, right? They can get all clogged up. So what we recommend is eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. Eliminate them. Stop eating them, especially oil and fried food. And take one anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one ultimate selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle, most importantly, of ultimate daily capsules per 150 pounds of body weight per month. And call my friends at 855-347-3696 to dial that in. That's 855-347-3696. Also, the anxiety attacks. It's a calcium deficiency. You need calcium, baby. You need nutrients, baby. But most importantly, you need to fire your MD now.